Hey everyone, it's me, Aggie. I'm in the studio painting tonight. I'm going to be painting the wood cutouts in this video. So let me set up my camera here. And you have a nice bird's eye view of what I'm doing. So the first thing you want to do with your cutouts, yours probably have the tape on the front of the cutout. You're going to want to leave the tape on there, turn it upside down, and tape the back like I have with your painter's tape, and then remove the tape from the front. And the reason that we do that is to keep all the little pieces in place for when we're priming and painting them. It also helps prevent paint from getting on the edges. So I have already decided to use this clear matte medium on my cutouts to help kind of seal the wood. Since wood is so porous, that's going to create a nice painting surface for me, but more importantly, it's going to help reduce the air bubbles later on when I go to resin these cutouts. So if you don't want to use something like this, painting it, with acrylic paints also helps to kind of seal it. But to give it a little added bit, you might want to either use Rust-Oleum's 2X Ultra Cover Clear. This is a really good product to use. Or if you want to have a little bit of a white base on there, you could use the primer. I'm not going to prime mine white this time since it's, because of the colors. I feel like the light brown is going to help my paint color, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, so let me get these out of the way. And I've got a few of my paint colors out. So if you go look at this lovely chart that I made for you, you'll see that when we get to this part with the red barn, with the barn colors, we're going to use magenta and brown, and we're probably also going to use some of our warm red, the tomato red that I mentioned, like pyrrole red, naphthol red, a tomatoey warm red. And we might add a little bit of white later on for the lighter colors. So there's this part of the barn that we're going to paint, but also this thing up here is the, I don't know, this window, this barn door. What is it? The hayloft? I don't know what any of this stuff is called, but this is this piece, and these are the barn doors. So don't forget to paint this also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of that we want to paint. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up a my red color. I'm going to go for my round brush here. Oh, let me fix this cord. And I just want to grab a paper towel. So I'm going to grab a little bit of magenta and a little bit of brown and mix those two together. It's kind of hard to tell what we've got there just yet. So I'm going to add some red to some of it. And, maybe I'll just kind of test out this color right on my barn. Start putting it right on there. See what that looks like. I think it looks pretty good. There is a frame around the window, a white framing that we're going to want to paint in. I'm going to try not to get all my stuff on there. I'm trying not to get paint all over that, but inevitably, I'm sure I will get it on there. So with acrylic painting, I like to paint in layers. And I like to start with a somewhat darker, cooler barn red. Definitely up in this part. If it starts to get way too cool, I'll add more brown to that. But so far, that's not bad. And sealing, it helps it so that it doesn't soak up a lot of your paint. Wood is always pretty thirsty. There is a little white thing right there. I want a slightly different color on this side. So I'm using more of my warm red, my tomato red on that side. And you just want to make sure you get all of that covered. Wow, as it's drying, it's looking a lot darker. But that's okay, that's good because we're going to paint a warmer layer on top of it. So, and then of course, this part is going to be darker. This is the, what was this again? The milking shed. I think Jill told me. Jill is originally from Wisconsin. She's one of our members. So it's nice that the lines are drawn on there for us. Yeah, with the shine from my lamp, it's kind of hard to see. So you want to, oops, that was an accident. You want to let it start to dry and see what it looks like then and see what you need to do. I think all you're going to need to do is come back in with a little bit more of your warm red and you should be fine. I'm going to paint the doors just straight Pyrrole red. All right, so this part right here, I do want to have a little bit more of my Pyrrole red, my warm red mixed into it. Kind of blending into this. And remember, we can always layer more color on top. And I love that texture that we're getting. So we are going to have the wreath right there. I forgot about that. I do want to have some dark where the wreath is going to be. So I'm glad I have the little reference to remind me because I totally forgot about that. That texture is awesome on there, how that's looking. And of course, if need be, I can add a little bit of white wherever I want it to pop a little bit more. Okay, so let me kind of see where, let's see if I turn this light off, maybe it'll get rid of that shine. That's a lot better. Okay, the wreath, where is that? Oh, it's right here. Um, yeah, so that's right about here. I could pop this out of here and get myself a really good idea of exactly where that is. Let's do that real quick. Wow, can you hear my husband coughing up there? Wow, poor guy. Okay, so that gives me a pretty good idea. And I'm just going to take my brown, I think some straight brown, well, maybe a little bit of quinacridone with it. And now that I can see where that is, where it's going to be, I'm going to go ahead and paint that circle on there like a shadow. I guess it would be shadowy inside also, right? And that really helps that pop. That's nice. So that looks pretty good. Oh, I need to paint right there. I missed that little spot. Don't ask me how, but I did. Alrighty. Get this a little bit darker. And I'm going to make this a little bit darker too. Just another layer of brown. And that looks pretty good, I think. All right, so then for, oh, tape is sticking. For the milk shed or whatever it's called, I think I want this end to be a little bit lighter, and I'm out of my lighter red paint. Kind of hard for me to see my colors without that light on. So I'm going to make this end a little bit lighter because it's off on this side. It's going to catch a little more light. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alrighty, and now we can do the barn doors, right? And those I'm just going to do with straight red. I'm not going to try painting in there, in between there. I'm just going to go for it and do this and paint white on top of it. You'll still see those lines. They don't really totally disappear, which is a good thing. Okay, am I missing anything? Roof. think that's it. And I might even use a white acrylic paint marker on those fine lines. That would certainly make my job a lot easier. If you really want to be detail oriented, if you wanted to paint inside black, oh, you know what I'm probably going to do is paint the white frames, the white little plus sign inside the windows. But that I would do on my background later. Okay, I think that's it for the red barn color. So now I want to do the, let's do the green foliage. So we've got the green wreath to paint and the trees. So let me grab those. So this doesn't really take too long. It takes me longer because I'm explaining. Now, if you have like a sap green, you could certainly use that. Or, you know, we like to mix our own colors. If you look on this chart that I made, these trees, you know, in the foreground here are ultramarine blue and yellow and black and brown. So you can make a pretty nice green from yellow and black, believe it or not. And I think that and the ultramarine blue mixed in, it's kind of a combination, is what I used. So let me get a different palette here. Get my ultramarine blue, my green. So I'll put a little ultramarine blue out on my plate. And I'm using Hansa Yellow Opaque. You know, basically you want, like, it could be cadmium yellow, medium. Would probably be a good color if you don't have Hansa Yellow Opaque. And I also need my black, which I have a giant bottle of black for some reason. Okay, so I'm going to get a little yellow and add a little bit of black to that. And you start to see this green. Right, so that's a yellow green. If I add a little more black, it becomes medium green pretty quickly. I still have a little bit of red in my brush that's kind of coming out of there. So we could start putting this on there to see what that looks like. And that looks way too light. So I'm going to go ahead and add some ultramarine blue. And that's looking a lot better, but I think I want it even darker. So maybe I'll make a darker version over here. That looks pretty nice, actually. So let's see, what is what? This is the piece that goes on that side. This piece goes on top of this one. So really, it's like you don't even really need to paint this one because this is going to be going on top of there. We probably could even glue it right now, but it's easier to paint this tree if I don't have that on there. So I'm not going to do that yet. All right, so now I'm going to take this dark green and maybe start filling it in along here. And I'm doing these kind of sweepy, horizontal-ish strokes. And I think I like that color. I think that looks pretty good. The other thing you could do is kind of every once in a while see how it looks on your background. And by the way, I didn't really talk about the additional things that I did to my background, but I kept on adding in more detail. I used a fine nib acrylic paint pen to do all these little branches. They're just too hard to do with a brush, and that just makes it so much easier. If I tilt it, you can also see the metallic. I used a silver chrome paint pen for that, and I just love how that looks. Gives it that really frosty look. And I shared the link for that. It's, I'll show you what it looks like here. I bought them as a 3-pack, but this is basically what it looks like. I bought it on Amazon, and it's just a, this is a larger bullet nib. There's 3 different size nibs in the 3-pack set, but you want to get probably the fine point, or this bullet nib might be a little bit on the big side, but you could probably still use it. Here's the finer nib point, which is what I think I used. And then I decided to bring this tree down a little bit lower, and I'll show you that. I might be able to show it to you in this session, but I just didn't like the way it was working out with the background and the position of these trees. So I darkened this area a little bit because it was too much. My eye kept going to this light patch of snow, and that's not where I wanted the viewer to look. So, but we'll talk about that stuff. So this is what I meant before. If you want to have those little, the white trim inside of the barn window, you would need to paint it on here, the little white plus sign. So, but we'll get to that in just a minute. So acrylic paint does dry slightly darker than it looks when it's wet. And I actually really like that color. And believe it or not, it's gonna also look a little bit darker when you resin it. So try not to make them too dark. All right, I like that color a lot. I'm going to mix up some more of it. Be careful with adding the black. The black is really strong and can kind of take over real quick. Add a little bit of blue to that too. And it's up to you if you want to have snow on your trees. I think the snow really does make it look kind of fun. I guess I'm using this dark color all the way. I'm not really worrying about if I get it on the side edges. So I'm basically painting this like a solid color, dark green first as my first layer. I'm going to also put that same color on here. Hopefully I have enough. Probably going to run out. Yep, need a little bit more. It's just amazing to me how much wood just really soaks up the paint. Even with the sealer on it, I feel like it's still really soaking up the paint. I don't add any water. I think that just dilutes it too much. I'd rather have really good coverage so I don't have to paint several coats. All right. Maybe for safety, maybe I should paint these edges just ever so, ever so slightly. I'm going to add a little bit of water to this, just in case. And as Shelly said today, it's a good idea to kind of clamp. When you do glue this, we are going to glue that piece on there, this piece on top of this. It's a good idea to clamp it or put a weight on it for a few minutes so it doesn't shift on you. It does dry very quickly, but you do need to leave it alone for maybe at least 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so that's my base coat. And if you look at this or look at some of the pictures, you'll see there's a little bit of dimension. Like obviously it's kind of a ombre effect. It's a little bit more yellow green and more blue green down here. So I want to do that now. So I'm going to make the same mixture again, yet again. And I'm going to add, quite a bit of blue to it to really make it a noticeably cooler blue-green. And I'm going to switch to a smaller brush to allow me to make some sweepy strokes. And, I'm just going to do them as simple, like cross strokes like this. Oop, oop, oop. Something like that. Nothing too cray-cray. Maybe I'll make this just a little bit darker down at the bottom. Maybe down here it just becomes a pretty solid, darker blue-green. Why not? Okay. So there's one. Do the same thing to this one. I like to kind of make these dark lines coincide a little bit with the outer cut. It's going to be all darker down here. Okay, there's that one. And then I'm going to do same thing on this one. And of course, I need a little bit more paint. Okay, so I think I'm going to make this entire thing down here dark. And I think that looks pretty good. Okay, now we can add some lighter tones. Okay, so let's add some lighter tones now. So I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow to this. think I do want to kind of blend this a little bit more. I think I had this a little bit too drastic of a jump happening there. Okay. All right, so let's make a highlight color. So really we could just use this yellow the way it is. Well, maybe that might be a little drastic. I'm not sure yet. Yeah. And, I'm going to have snow on there too. And these green marks won't be as noticeable as they seem to be right now. Oh, I don't want to forget about my wreath. So let me grab this kind of medium green. Oh, it might be a little dark. Just need a tiny bit more yellow. And I really do love Golden's Hansa Yellow Opaque. It's a very nice opaque yellow, which that's kind of hard to find. They're usually pretty wimpy. Okay, wipe that out of my brush and add. So I'm just going to add little dots for that texture of a wreath, just little dabby dots, for lack of a better word, right? And that's good enough. We'll have a little bit of texture to it. It's going to go right about there. And, double check your colors, make sure that they are popping and working. That looks like that's going to work pretty nicely. Okay, so looks like this should be dry by now. I could do another layer. I don't know if I really need to. I think I'm going to leave it. And I'm going to paint the white trim. That's probably the hardest part. I don't know if I even have a white marker that'll work. Wow. There's not a white one in here? Really? Shoot. This looks like, how could there not be a white one in here? This looks like off-white. I don't know. I don't know what color this is. Yeah. Oh, it's yellow. Okay. There is supposed to be a white one in here. I guess I don't know. But I do have, oh, maybe it's upside down. Oh, there, this is it. It was upside down. Okay. So get it started. Oh, make sure it's going to work. hopefully this will work, right? All right. So there's a little bit of a white line right here. Oh boy, it is working. It really flows right out of there. Oh, a little bit too much, actually. Let me, oh, it's okay. I can paint over that. I didn't know it was going to flow so strong. Wow. Okay. Oh, I kind of like how I'm getting a little bit of texture and detail in there. Um, okay, so this, if that happens to you, just paint over that. Let me get my red paint again. You know, no big deal. We'll just paint over that in red and try it again. Well, it's red with a little bit of brown. Yeah. So let that dry and we'll do round two. um, oh, I also forgot this little steeple up here, or whatever that's called. That needs a little bit of red on it too. Easy to miss that stuff. So I just need the tiniest bit of red paint and brown paint again. Okay. So just try not to get it on the roof part. So it's just another brownish red. You can put a little bit of magenta in there to help it push back a little bit. Okay, good, good, good. All right, let's try the white trim around the window. Let's see if we can. I'm going to turn the light on for this. I'll be able to do a lot better, I think, if I have a light on. So sorry about the glare. Ugh, I just couldn't see. You know, and there are nice little detail lines in there that you can, use to help you. If you want to fill it in completely in between the crevices, you can do that or not. It's totally up to you. Yay! I mean, you could even outline this little thing. I don't know if I want to. That might be a little bit hard, huh? I didn't do too great on that. I'm gonna smear it off. Okay, hold on. Yeah, let me paint over that again. It's so small up there. That's kind of hard to get at. Okay. Let's come back to that. Let's do this one. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm getting to where I really need my glasses for this sort of thing. I keep forgetting to bring them down here. Oh, okay, I made it flow out a lot more, and I think it's okay. Yeah, I really want to see that. Okay. And we are going to paint a shadow on there too, believe it or not. Oh, let's do these little guys. Mm. I almost feel like if you can do it slower, it seems to work a little bit better. And I mean, it is a barn. It doesn't, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Okay, there's that. Okay. And then I would love to get a little bit of a shadow on there too. Let's see if we can do that. So for that, I'm going to use a brown paint pen. Is this the one? No. Uh-oh. Where did I put my brown paint pen? What color is this? Oh, I guess it is brown. It sure didn't look brown. Okay. So we could just put a little bit of a shadow. See how I've got some shadow on here? So, okay, it would be like along here. And underneath this one. And this one. Okay, so just that little bit adds a little bit more. Okay, same thing with this one. I don't remember if I used a paint pen on the first class. I probably did. Okay, so there's that. And so now we need to paint the roof. And I'm trying to remember what color roofs usually are. I don't really know, to tell you the truth. But I think just a kind of a tan color, you know, is probably good. So I'm going to use some burnt umber again, and maybe some white to make a tan-ish color. Might add a little black to it too. So I'm going to get a tiny little speck of black. Oh, that was too tiny. It's almost the same color as the wood. Kind of a grayish, gray beige color. Okay, so this layer goes on top of that, and it is going to be covered in snow, but we do kind of want to see a little bit of the, you know, the barn, the base color underneath that. Now that's looking really gray. Maybe I should have made it a little browner. So I added a little bit more brown. Yeah, I think I like that better. Actually, this one would probably be a darker color than that one. It's tilting a little bit away from the, you know, from the light. So just make it slightly different, lighter color. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And that's going to go on top of this. So I suppose if I wanted to be safe, again, I would paint this. Is that all one piece? Yeah, it is. All right, so let's get it painted on here. And we want to try not to hit the red part that you've already painted. Of course, I think a lot of this is easier with the larger, the 16 by 20 barn. Be real careful of this little detail-y part right here. Okay. Now, does I guess the top of this would have a gray color too. Right? I don't know. Did I do that on this one? Yeah, I did. Okay. Let's see what else. I think that might be it. Okay. This, oh yeah, there's the roof of the milking shed. I forgot. So fortunately, I still do have this color. Almost forgot. Oh, I don't know why. Well, yeah, that is the top piece. Never mind. Okay. I think that is it for the barn. I think I want a slightly better blend right there. Oh, I forgot about this white on that part. Okay, let's fix that. So, okay. This this blend I want to fix first. Trees are looking funny. Got a little bit more red out. Red and a little bit of brown. Yeah, that actually looks a lot better already. Now remember about that shadow. We need that shadow there because of the wreath. I mean, I suppose there could be a hint of some slats in there, a hint lighter. Okay, and then now we want to bring this little detail of white trim. So Get my white paint pen out again. What do I do with it? I put it away? I don't remember putting it away. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, there's this little bit of a line right here. Oh, that worked. Worked a lot better that time. And there's a little bit of a line right here. Okay. And then I hope this will work on this piece. Is that a separate cut? Okay, it is one piece. I just couldn't tell. I don't know how this is going to work. Oh. Okay, not bad. I like the skipping lines. Should have done that on that one. Okay, what else? This is part of the split rail fence. So that's the last thing is our split rail fence. We want to do these horizontal pieces of wood, but don't forget the actual post that goes with it. And we could also put snow on our trees, which I don't know if you want to try using a, I think I used this, I think I used the, the paint pen or whatever to just put a hint of snow on the wreath. So decide which way the wreath is going to go. And there would be a little bit of fallen snow on this part. And maybe here, here and there or whatever. So little bits of snow there. And on this tree, we can literally look right at this and copy it, I think. This tree's got and I'll add some thicker parts too. Don't think about it too much. Remember, it all works together to tell the story. Sometimes when we're looking at one individual part, it can be like, oh, this doesn't look right. But believe me, when you put it all together, it just all works. It all tells the story. So I think I am going to go ahead and glue this onto here. Yeah, I think I want to do that. So I'm going to use my thick glue. And I really do love this stuff. It's got a little needle in there, but you do want to wipe the tip off. So I'm just going to, you have to squeeze it to get it down into the nozzle to come out. Would better work for me. Where are you? Are you kidding? I can't see in there to tell. Oh, there it goes. And, you know, I didn't really need to put it right on the edge like that. That was kind of dumb. That's probably plenty right there. I'm going to wipe off the nozzle and put this right back on there immediately. And I don't even need to spread it out or anything. I'm just going to place it on there. And you want to, you know, don't mess around with this. Get it in the right position. You don't have a whole lot of time to change your mind and move it, which I'm not doing really well. But, you know, make sure those outside edges are really lined up. I don't think I have it on there quite right. Oh, actually, I guess I do. So I'm glad that I did paint the background piece because it actually does show a little bit. Okay, so that's on there. I do have a little bit of glue showing. That's really not going to show up by the time we resin it, so I really wouldn't worry about that. Okay, so now that I have those two pieces put together, I'll put my snow on here too. And I want to kind of make it match this, right? I think last time when I did this, I used a paintbrush. I don't like that one weird streak right there, but so I first do my lines and then I decide where I want to fatten them up afterwards. And a lot of times the snow is out on the little tips of the branches. All right, so maybe I'll thicken up like right here. Oh. And I think the last thing I'm going to do with you is show you the split rail fence, how you could do that. Now, if you wind up just not liking your lines, you can always just paint back over it again. So maybe there's a couple of lines I want to edit. Oops, I grabbed way too much black. You know, so it's real easy to come back in and change it wherever you need to. But honestly, by the time we put all the different, glass embellishments and stuff on here, you're not gonna notice all that stuff. I guess I need to let that dry and paint over that again or something. But anyway, okay, so for the split rail fence, I did put my matte medium on this. So I need to paint this post, and I could glue that on there right now. I'm just not sure I want to, for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. Before I do the split rail fence, I do want to look at and make sure I don't have any paint on my hands to ruin my painting. And let me get this. Well, I am going to need to use that in just 1 second. All right, now wipe my hands off. Don't you love it when a bunch of baby wipes come out when you're trying to only get one? And I do want to see how this looks on the painting. I'll just poke them back in there. Okay, so I guess I would pop this out of here. Oh, they are two separate pieces. Oh, running out of room here. Okay, so don't need this anymore. And this goes over here just a little bit, right? Up a little higher for my shadow. And I want to get my milking shed. Okay, so that's all fitting in there just right. And so now what I can do is take a pencil and mark that in there. I've got this pencil right here. And it's very hard to see them, but I do have the panes, inside the windows. Of course, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can kind of see it there just a little bit. So I need to turn my light on to see. I can't see. And I think I have it just right. So it looks straight and everything. Let me stand directly over it. Yeah, it looks straight. Okay. So I'm going to yeah, that shows. Okay, good. Got that. Oops, that moved. Oh, why did that move? Let me put this back. I'm not sure if everything moved or what. Okay. Okay. And I can see those pencil lines there. And so now I think I'm going to pencil it in exactly where the halfway point is. And I'll turn this light off again. Well, then I won't be able to see. Okay. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Okay. And then here we go with our white. And remember, you can always just paint right over it. I made that one crooked. It went a little wavy on me, but that's okay. All right. Let that dry. And it's going to look so cute. Let me put that back on top. Right? Look at that. Of course, you got to put it in the exact spot when you put it, when you go to do the final thing. Yay. Oh, yeah. Well, that looks a little high on that one. Oh, now it looks okay. Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, so now the split rail fence. And when we go to put all this stuff together, the split rail fence is what goes down first. You have to have the split rail fence, and this is going to be in front of it. Okay, so move this aside. And I think for my split rail fence color, it's really, oh, I have it on here. It is brown with white and a little bit of gray, kind of basically the same color as the roof, maybe a little bit more towards the brown side, maybe a little bit browner. So let me set this aside. And here's this, and I need this piece right here. Don't forget this, and don't lose this. I'm going to put this in here so I don't lose it. Don't lose the wreath. Okay. I can it doesn't really matter which side you paint, really, on on these long rectangles, to tell you the truth. It doesn't really matter. Let me get a little bit more white. And, oh, my black was over here on this tray, so let me transfer some black over here. Okay, almost done. So get some brown and a little bit of white and a little bit of black. I don't know. Let's just see how that color looks. That might be just fine. You could put you could use double the tape to hold your pieces down. I forgot to do that. I think Shelly takes tape and rolls it on itself like this. To hold your wood in place. I just was too lazy to do that. But it is a nice trick. Let's do it on this one. And let's see. I think I did put a little bit of shading on the post, so I'm going to grab a little bit of black and darken that color. I even made it have like a top to the stump. Let's see. I mean, not stump, the post. Just picture an oval at the very top of it. Like that. Maybe even a little bit darker. Oops, got too dark. Okay, same thing with the split rail fence. I'm going to take this darker color, kind of run it along the bottom. You want it to have like a rough hewn texture, that's totally fine. Maybe it's a little lighter at the top. Don't make it too light though. You want that snow to pop on there when we put the snow in. Okay, and I think I'm ready for my snow then. Okay, so for the snow, again, you could use that paint pen if you want, but this time I think I'm going to use just a little brush dipped in white. I'm just going to use straight white. So for the top of the post, let's do that first. It's just going to be snow sitting on the top here. And maybe it's kind of hanging over. Hanging over a little bit. All right, and then we're just going to kind of come along here and put little, like, I don't know, dots and ridges of it. Skipping here and there. Oh, I guess I should have figured out where my post is going to be, but I can go back and fix that later. Because there wouldn't be snow where the post is crossing over it. Maybe it's sticking on a couple other spots here and there, and that is really it. I don't like my drip of snow. It looked better before I did that. So we could just do that. Wipe the whole thing off. Put your dark back in there again. I think I made it too dark. But I don't know that I mind that a whole lot. I might even put a little bit of dark on here. Oh, here comes Charlie to remind me it's time for his walk. Yeah, I know. Okay, so I added some dark to that. And let me put some snow back on the top of my post and call it done. I think the key is to just have it look like it's hanging over a bit and not make it look like a drip. All right, so I think that's going to be everything that we need. Let's see. Do I want to paint? I guess, well, this is my painting. I did have white on there. So maybe I will paint some white snow on top of this. Yeah, it looks like I did do that. Oh, and I also have a little bit of white snow on the window ledges. It's up to you if you want to be that detailed or not. But let's put some white snow on here. And now this time we're going to use a little bit of ultramarine blue to make a shadowy snow, just a tiniest little bit, so that when you put that white snow on later, it pops against the shadowy snow. So I've got white and I've got just the tiniest little bit of ultramarine blue in there. Well, I have more brown in there from my brush leaking. So I guess it's going to be a very subtle gray. And I want my brush a little bit dry, and I want to paint these strokes in the direction of the roof. It kind of, I think snow usually mounds up on this ridge. It would probably be a little more mounded right there. So where's my color? Oh, here it is. Just going to put a little bit more here. And I'm going to go back to the slightly grayer color. Make my brush a little bit dry by wiping it off. And hopefully just do one swoop over it and call it a day. Yeah. Maybe a little more white right there. Yeah. And that, I mean, you want it to be spotty and textured like that. Okay, so let's see if we put all of this together on here, how it's going to look. Now, my split rail fence, I think, is just a little bit off because it was a different file, but it still works. Oh my goodness. Okay, there's that one. Get this tape out of here. And you want to be careful popping these pieces out. They need to come straight out so that you don't break them. And then to get this one out, you could use a little, you know, Shelly has little dental tools, but I think I've got a stylus. Yeah, so I'll use my stylus to get it out. There we go. Okay, there that is. That would be a very easy piece to lose, so be careful. Okay, so now let's see if we can kind of put it all together here. I'm afraid I'm going to lose that piece. I don't want to lose it. Okay, so split rail fence. Split rail fence. Oh, here we go. And here's the post. It's going to go somewhere over here, right? Look how cool that looks already. I would not put the split rail fence right in the middle of that. That's just a little too obvious. Put it off to the side a little bit. And here is the reason why Shelly has given us these extra pieces, because we do need them. We do need them for, you know, for that and that. Okay, so these have to move over. Okay, and then, you know, I'll pull this over, get this all lined up. This just gives you a rough idea. Okay, and then this goes here. Oh, I forgot there's supposed to be a little line right there. I don't know if I'm going to put that in. Okay, I want this to go this way because that's where the snow is on that inner ridge. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Wow, that red is really popping. That might be too bright. And here's my barn doors. You go right up against there. Yeah, I think this red is too different from the other red. So I could put, I don't like how red that is. I think I'm going to darken it just a little bit. Okay, let's do that really quick. See, I'm glad I'm seeing this. Okay, let me get my red paint plate. Where is that? Oh, I don't. Oh, here it is. Hello. Oh, and then there's this. I'm forgetting. This goes on top of here. And oh, I love how it gives it more dimension. Look at that. This goes here. And that added dimension is so nice. And then this goes here. I think this way. Wow, cool. Now, I don't know if I was supposed to have those two little triangles in there. I didn't have them in mine. I lost them or something. So there might be two little triangle pieces that you can put on the top of the steeple. They would be very easy to lose. So be careful when you're taking things apart. So I think that's it. Oh my goodness. It looks pretty awesome. I think I just want to let me put this light on. It's hard to judge with the lighting. Oh, that's not helping. I don't know. Maybe I'll look at it during the day tomorrow and, well, no, I think it is too red. Yeah, let's see if I make this a little bit more red right here. This is just the detaily stuff, you know. I swear it doesn't look so crazy in person. I don't know why it's looking so. I think it's maybe it's because I'm painting at night here. It doesn't look that blatantly red in person. Like that just those look like globs on the camera, but I swear it's not. Making that just a little bit redder to go with this. And then also right up there. Okay, where does that go again? Right about here. And this is going here. Yeah, I think that helps that a little bit. And I might make my barn doors. Let's see if I get a little bit of brown on here. And just use a this red with a little bit of brown in it. Let's see what this does. A little bit more. Oops, did I just do that? Wow, it's just not showing up on camera, but believe it or not, it helped a lot. I used a red with brown mixture to tone down that red a little bit. And I'll look at it, you know, in the light of day and see how I like it. I just can't believe how the lighting is so well. Now you can kind of see the toned down brown. I think you can see it. But anyway, I think you get the idea, right, my friends? All right, I think that's it for all of the painting. One thing that what I mentioned earlier was this triangle was like really light like that. And I just, now that when you look at it, you can see this area is painted a lot darker, and it really helped because we don't really want that standing out so much, So think about that. I think I might make this a little bit lighter. That looks a little too dark to me. And, sometimes what I'll do is, set it aside and come back to it with fresh eyes, which I will do on this one tomorrow and decide, if I want to tweak anything else. All right. That is it for painting the cutouts. I would say as far as gluing is concerned, we're going to think about how we're going to do the resin and the glass first before we glue anything else. I probably will glue these down and this down, but I'm just not sure yet. I want to think through about the resin step, because sometimes I'll coat something in resin, with a gloved finger. I'll coat it in resin and put it in position. That's probably what I'm going to do for the split rail fence. I'm not going to glue the split rail fence down or any of this. You wouldn't want to glue any of this stuff down, because when you go to put the resin on, we want to coat it all around. We want to get those sides really coated. It's easier to do it loose, that you can get in there and get all those crevices covered with resin. We'll probably even use a little paintbrush to do that, a throwaway brush. And then you can also wipe off the bottom so it's not dripping. We don't want to put it on here and have a drip hanging off. So we are going to resin those pieces individually. We're going to do it all in one step, where we put resin on this, coat this in resin, and coat all these pieces in resin. We're going to pour the resin on the background and all of that. We'll show you all of that, but I'm just saying, don't jump ahead and start gluing everything down until we walk you through all of that. All right, my friends, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, if you have any questions, you can tag me. Just start typing out my name, Agnes Friedlander, and then I'll be notified, and I'm happy to come in and answer any questions that you have. See you on the next video.